Here's your podcast segment. Turkey or Türkiye? Who is the US playing? That's the question the New York Times posed this week, and it's a surprisingly deep one for a World Cup matchup. The United States faces a familiar opponent Thursday night in Los Angeles. The team is the same one Americans have watched for decades. But depending on where you look, the scoreboard, your TV screen, or your browser, the name might be different. FIFA and Fox Sports are going with Türkiye, pronounced Türkiye. The New York Times and plenty of other outlets are sticking with Turkey. So what's actually going on? The modern Turkish state was founded back in 1923, after the fall of the Ottoman Empire. English speakers have called it Turkey ever since, when it was born, when it joined NATO, right up to today. But the push to change that started about a decade ago, and it came from the top. President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan and his AKP party drove it. A researcher in political toponymy, that's the study of place names, at Eskişehir Osman Gazi University put it plainly, the AKP has built a central narrative around a more confident, more powerful new Turkey replacing the old one, and the name change is, quote, a symbolic piece of that broader claim to agency and visibility. An international public relations campaign also ran alongside the push. Now, it's worth noting that Turkish people have always called their country Türkiye, just like Germans call Germany Deutschland, or Spaniards call it España. The difference is that Türkiye is now being actively promoted outside Turkey's borders. The United Nations made it official in 2022. The US State Department followed in 2023, though its website still shows both, Turkey, Türkiye. For a lot of people, the World Cup may be the first time they've heard TV announcers use the three-syllable name at all. Turkey isn't alone in this either. FIFA calls the Czech team Czechia, a name that country has been pushing for about a decade, though many still say Czech Republic. And FIFA uses Cabo Verde and Côte d'Ivoire, where English speakers often say Cape Verde and Ivory Coast. There's also a less diplomatically stated reason behind the Turkish rebrand, and it comes down to a bird. Yes, the turkey. To be clear, the country's name came first. Turkey was used to refer to the Ottoman Empire for centuries. The animal only got its name later, through a roundabout trade route involving birds imported through Turkish territory. But not every Turkish person appreciates the association. A 2025 study in the journal Names cited what it called deeply rooted etymological irritation from the perceived link between the bird and the country, including, and this is a direct quote, connotational nuances arising from Turkey-related puns. The researchers even name-checked the old schoolyard joke, Hungary ate turkey in Greece on China. As for ordinary people? At several Turkish restaurants in Midtown Manhattan, workers shrugged it off. One woman named Raya said she calls it Turkey herself, because people don't know Türkiye, and when asked which name she'd prefer others use, she said simply, whatever you want. Turkey is good. Türkiye is good. So tonight, whether you're watching Turkey or Türkiye take on the US, you'll at least know the story behind the name on the scoreboard.